So for today's setup video, we're going back to my specs, or at least that's what I'm gonna call it. Or at least my favorite specs that I think I've skated over the last year. So shout out to Ben and Jim for getting me these boards. If you don't know what these boards are, the Deluxe True Fit molds, 825, 31.5 inches long, and a 13.88 wheelbase. And this has honestly become my favorite board in specs over the last year, like I was saying. I've skated a whole bunch of different brands, a bunch of different concaves. I mean, really a ton of stuff. And after all that time, this has really become my favorite board. Really quickly, the reason why this board has become my favorite. One, the mold itself is the True Fit mold. It's got great concave. Nose and tail are really nice and kicky. The nose and tail also have a nice spooned kind of nose and tail concave. Also, of course, the short wheelbase, the 13.88, is actually pretty rare for this type of board. When I mean this type of board, usually an 825 is about a 14.25 wheelbase, so anything under 14 inches is pretty small. And if you don't know what wheelbase is, it's the distance between the trucks, and that makes actually a pretty big difference. So to sum it up really quick, the closer it is together, you're gonna have a quicker response time, so you're gonna ollie quicker, you're gonna turn faster. Otherwise, then the longer wheelbase is gonna give you stability, which is gonna be great, but the pop time is gonna be a little bit slower. So this 13.88, honestly, you would find that on something like a 775 or something, which is pretty small. And with the small wheelbase, like I was saying, it's not very stable. It's very kind of quick and responsive. So with it being an 825, definitely helps the stability on it. But also, like I mentioned earlier, this is 31.5 inches long. Usually an 825 is about 32 inches long, so it is a little bit shorter. And with it being a little bit shorter, the reason why I love this is that it can just spin and rotate so fast. And I feel like it's just kind of less effort than it is with a bigger board. I think that's kind of enough about the board. Now let's kind of talk about what's going to go under the hood. So we're going to continue riding these forged independent hollows. Honestly, I've been really loving these trucks. I've been riding the independent hollows for, I don't know, years now. So the forged definitely does feel a little bit lighter. Like I did mention, the 149 is actually a little bit bigger of a truck than you would ride on an 825. Usually a 149 would be something maybe for like an 8.5. But having the wider truck kind of gives me more stability. Just to kind of counteract how small the wheelbase is, the wider truck does kind of help. And with the wider truck, it's just easier to lock into grinds like crooks and feebles. Last thing we're going to talk about is going to be the wheels that we're going to be riding. We're going to be riding some Spitfire 101 tablets. I freaking love these wheels. I just like a hard wheel. I do a lot of nose slides and tail slides, so it kind of just makes sense. Also, we got some Santa Cruz rails. Usually a set of rails lasts me like 3 or 4 boards, so this is probably the 3rd or 4th board these rails have kind of been through. So when we put in these on, I just like these. They're hollow, they're super hard plastic. I don't know, they've been working for a while, so I ain't gonna mess with it, you know? And lastly, we got some pepper grip. Let's kind of make this quick. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of late right now, so I kind of want to get to bed, so let's kind of do this quickly, but not too quick. Also, these stickers, I don't know, I always have to peel it off. I don't know, I feel like you can low-key see it actually through the grip tape sometimes, so. Honestly, don't do anything fancy with my grip. I really never have. I don't know why. It's never been really a thing for me. So we'll just throw this pepper grip on. And I don't know, I've just had really good experience with pepper grip. Just if we're on the topic of it right now. The mob grip, last time I used it, it was actually kind of funny. Like I was kind of having a hard time getting it to stick actually. And even after about 3 or 4 weeks, it got kind of dirty and I noticed it just kind of didn't get that grippy. Where the pepper does seem to stay grippy for a long period of time. Also with mob, I feel like it's just like the grip is a little like thinner, so like it crinkles easier. So if you have a lot of concave and you're putting your grip tape on, I feel like it just crinkles easier. I haven't skated one of these boards in a while, so I'm so freaking excited. And when you grip it, you can really see the shape. It's just so nice. Like the nose has a slight, it's like kind of stubby, it's a little square, tail is nice and round. Oh man, I love these boards so much. Like I feel like I don't know, not that I skate the best, but I feel like I do low-key skate the best when I ride these boards. All right, let's see if we can get all this grip tape off with one. Whoa, cat is interfering. Yo, you're so lucky you didn't get the grip tape stuck to your fur, girl. Oh my goodness, imagine. Cookie, what if you just got gripped? That'd be insane. Your mother would have killed me. I would normally like fold this grip tape and kind of save this for later and hit it around the sides, but I don't want to make more of a mess inside. So I do get asked if I've tried the independent inverted kingpin, and yeah, it is great. When I was skating curbs, it works fine, but it tends to kind of like, the kingpin kind of loosens up and you can't fully tighten it really much more at a certain point. So when I'm skating curbs, like I said, I usually skate pretty loose trucks, so I don't mind it, but I've been kind of skating trucks a little bit more tight. And just because I've just noticed kind of with like manual tricks and I don't know, even certain grind tricks, it's just kind of easier to pop out. I get more leverage when it's tighter than when it's looser. So it kind of brings me back to the regular kingpin right here. I can just get this regular kingpin a little bit tighter and a little bit more precise. It's just a little bit more reliable when I tighten it, you know, it just doesn't get loose. It kind of stays the same tightness no matter what. And the other reason why I went to the forged hollow was honestly just to lighten them up a little bit more too. Now that we got the trucks on, before we put the rails on, what I really want to do is rotate my wheels. And so what we're going to do is just kind of rotate them kind of like a car. So this guy's going to go over there, vice versa, that over there. For some reason, your front like toe wheel, like I don't know why that front wheel always gets like worn in one way more than the other. So you could just rotate it obviously the other way, but I don't want the graphics showing out. So we're going to do it the kind of car crisscross applesauce way. I'm going to be taking this wheel, kind of swap it over here on this side. And before I put it in, I do want to show you the second thing is I have both my washers on this side. And the reason why I have both my washers in here is, well, one, with the tablet wheel, it's obviously pretty square and pretty small. It's the shopping cart wheel, if you will. So I'm trying to push my wheel as far out to the side as I can over here, just to get, you know, the most truck I can get out of my grind, sort of say. And just to kind of match my wheel up with the side of my board the best I can. Just like I said, since these wheels are so skinny, I best kind of push it off to the side. So that's kind of the reason why I do that. When I used to ride the 48 millimeters and like 45s, I used to stick 3 freaking washers right there before my wheel. It was kind of wild now that I think about it. But yeah, there's just a little hack. If you didn't know, now you know. There's your fun fact. We swapped out the wheels, gonna tighten these things, and then we're gonna put the rails on. So there's a few things I want to talk about with the rails before we put these bad boys on. So first of all, yes, these rails, I believe you're actually supposed to put them this way. But when you actually get these rails brand new, kind of one side kind of sticks up more than the other. And just because of the tricks that I do like these weird board slide feebles and board slide hurricanes. When I reverse them, having the extra height on this side seems to work better for me. So I started just rocking these rails literally backwards. Or yeah, I was gonna say upside down, but they're definitely backwards. The next thing I want to talk about is rail placement. So kind of on those old 80s boards when they were super flat and they were doing grab tricks, the rails would go on the side. And it just made sense, you know, even with the rails, you're not really trying to like really wear the middle of your board, you know, like you don't want that extra grindage, you know what I mean? You want to be sliding on all plastic, baby. So, and if you're doing kind of more tilting tricks, like I was saying with the board slide feebles and hurricanes, the further in they are, the easier it's going to be because you're going to have this extra space on the side and that's going to allow you to tilt. I usually do 2 inches, which is kind of far, dramatic, but I swear it works. It works for me, maybe not work for you. But I literally take a little tape measure and I literally mark out the 2 inches. Easier to find right there. The thing I usually like to do as well is to kind of prevent the rattling from your rail. I'll usually get like duct tape or even like electrical tape. I don't have either of them, unfortunately. I only have packing tape, so I don't even know if this is gonna work. But to kind of prevent all that, this is my little hack that I like to do. I mean, you could do this with the grip tape, I guess, too. A few other things, but we're going to try to do it with this today and see how it goes. So I'm going to rip off this tape. We're going to cover the holes. Is this going to even stick? I don't even know if this is going to actually stick. So you guys, we're experimenting for the first time with this one. So we're going to roll this one up. Okay, I mean, it's not working. It might not look very pretty, but it's working. Okay, also with the tape, it does kind of make it easier, obviously, for the rail to stick on when you're drilling it in. So let's kind of place, let's place this one over here, because I can actually see the dot. And there's the dot was kind of just slightly covered a little bit. Okay, that looks all right. That looks about right. Okay, got that one on. All right, it seems like the packing tape actually worked pretty well. So it's just gonna help, like I said, just prevent that overall rattle you're gonna get with the board. Definitely just makes it easier to screw the board in too. And it's kind of crazy. I've been skating rails on my board now for a few years. I mean, I don't even know how long. I mean, I can't even think of the last time I set up a board without rails, which is crazy now. And I've gotten so used to board sliding, even on metal, it's such a consistent slide. I know what I'm gonna expect because I've definitely stuck on my board plenty of times without rails. So having the rails actually, I feel more confident with it now, which is kind of crazy. And I feel like, I don't know, if you snowboard too, I kind of relate it to snowboarding on a box. Like when you board slide, that kind of sensation and slide is very similar to this. All right, the board's all set up. It's looking pretty good. Honestly, it feels so good to kind of go back to these specs. I can't wait to ride this thing. I can't wait to see how it feels again. You know, I'm sure it'll be good to be back home. Comment, let me know what your guys' favorite board is, if it's your ultimate board, whatever the shape is, the size is, let me know. Otherwise then, I'll catch you guys on the next sesh. I wish it wasn't late because I'd go skate. Well, that kind of rhymed, you know? You like that? How you been? Look at me, the rhymester over here, you know?